Hey guys, how's it going? This is episode 6 of the Truck Cast. I am the Rambling Redneck. We're going to get out of the driveway, hit the road, and head over to see my good friend Marshall Courtney, who is going to be joining us today while we talk about CrossFit and the CrossFit Games and all that's been going on this weekend with the games. And, you know, today's the final day. We won't know who the winner is during this podcast, but we will know shortly thereafter. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, I'm headed over to his house now. We're going to hang out and just spend a little time talking about it. Here with Marshall Courtney. I don't know, we'll get started. So I wanted to talk first about when we got started watching the games and if we started watching the games first or got into CrossFit first. And so I'm just going to come out and ask Marshall. So when did you start watching the CrossFit games?
It was either 2011 or 12. I tried looking on to see when they started showing on ESPN2 or whatever year it was. But I know it was the year that they did like the wall ball toss from a GHD. Mm-hmm. And they just had this feeder and they got heavier.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a distance thing. So I remember seeing that. Rich was a individual and he won that year, so it wasn't the year he took second.
That was either 11 or 12.
So I think it was 11 or 12, and then in 2013, driving down Highway 16, Denham Springs, saw these people running down the road, saw them run into this dirty blue garage, and decided to pull in, because I recognized what it was, so I decided to pull in, talk to the owner, and actually did a workout that day, because I don't say no to workouts very often, so I get talked into a lot of things. So 2013 is when I started working out in CrossFit, so it was after seeing the games. So it's definitely a reason to attempt it was seeing the games.
Yeah.
It did not scare me away. Being competitive, that's what got me into it.
Yeah. So mine's very similar. I was in a running group and we ran by a CrossFit gym often, and I started doing some research on what it was, and the first thing that come up was YouTube videos of the 2008 and 9 games and 2010 games before it was really broadcast. And after watching them guys do that a little bit, my thought was, hell, I can do this too. Need to get into it. And if I'd have found it 3 or 4 years sooner, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm in the same boat. Walked into the box, and Murph was wrote on the wall, and turned around and tried my best to walk out. And Coach come and grabbed me and said, we'll get you through this, and they did. And I've been in love with it ever since. But if not for YouTube clips of the games, I would have not known what CrossFit was. I would have never heard of it, never set foot in a box. So having that competitive side and watching the games, that's definitely got me into it. I don't think it's any different than going and running in your weekend 5K. I know that I'm not ever going to be an Olympic level runner. Most of the instances, I'm not going to go win a 5K, but I'll still go run one every now and again, just because it's fun. You can test yourself. I think CrossFit's a lot the same. So, anybody that's watching this because of CrossFit knows that there's been a whole lot of changes to the games since this time last year. And I'm not going to say that they didn't need some changes, but I think a lot of it was taking a hatchet to something that needed a scalpel. So I wanted to, kind of get into Glassman and what he's done to the games this year as far as just his public perception of it. I know you've read a whole lot more of the articles and probably know more of his quotes than I do, but my personal opinion is that he just decided he didn't like the games and wanted CrossFit to be the golden child instead of the CrossFit Games, and is doing everything he can to destroy them. I'll let you take it from there.
So, I will state this before I get too deep into it. It has been exciting to watch. I went into it in the middle, not trying to hate it or forcing myself to enjoy it more, but it has been good. But saying that, I do feel like Glassman being if Glassman is CrossFit and to the Dave Castro that is the games, I feel like Glassman is a scorned older brother who has been overshadowed by the little brother being the games, and he being the big brother, the owner, decided to put little brother in his place.
Take the little brother's toy away from him.
And you know, he has the ability to do that as you know, CEO and all that. And you know, it just sucks that it was allowed to happen. But you know, it has been interesting this year. So I liken it to Big Brother putting little brother in little brother's place. And Glassman has compared the games to the balloons and clown show at a car dealership. So it might be kind of flashy and get a couple people to pull in, but you're there for the car, which is CrossFit, as a healthy lifestyle. But I don't think they're comparable in that way.
Oh, no, I don't agree with that either. And I go back to the 5K, running your local 5K. You know, local CrossFit competitions are huge, and I've done one or two a year since I got into CrossFit, you know, for health purposes, and I've won very, very few of the ones that I've tried to do. And it's not about the winning, it's about setting a personal goal for myself to go and compete and see how I'm doing against others, but more just to, okay, I've got this event coming up, I need to train harder for this. It's a stimulus. So I don't think the games were just a means of getting people in the door or a gimmick. I don't guess. I think people that do it long enough love to get into the competitive side of it. Or I would say most people. I know there are some people that have no interest in being competitive, and those people are really good at pushing themselves without the competitive side of it. I'm not.
Yeah, I would agree. That I'm not as well. Not that you aren't.
Yeah. So, you know, I like that Glassman. I like his campaign, you know, for health and fitness and putting it above the games. I agree with that completely. What I don't agree with is the idea that the games are keeping people out of affiliates. And I'm trying to be professional and call them affiliates, but I'm going to call them boxes most of the time.
That's fine.
Have you talked to anybody? I mean, you've been coaching for a few years now. You've been doing CrossFit for a long time. Have you talked to anybody that said, I saw the games and it kept me from coming into the box?
I don't think anybody's ever told me it kept them out of the box. For me personally, it got me in the box.
Yeah.
Most people that I've met that, you know, CrossFit's still relatively unknown to the masses, other than maybe a meme on the internet. But as a lifestyle over just a sport on TV, I don't know. Even the people you might expect to tell you that it is intimidating and it would stop them, maybe the older clients or the soccer moms that just do the neighborhood walk. That I've never heard anybody say that CrossFit, from the sport aspect, the games, is intimidating and keeps them out of the box.
Yeah. And now I would, qualify that with, I have had a lot of people tell me that they sat in the parking lot for a week before they worked up the nerve to come inside.
Sure.
But it's not because of the games, it's because of the public image that we give.
Yes.
And I say we, I'm not meaning me and Marshall, I'm meaning we as long-term CrossFit guys. We kind of have the appearance of being somewhat crazy. So I think Glassman's campaign could have reached a whole lot more people if he went, focused more on the affiliates and how do we make this approachable? How do we get it to where, the dad that his kids are grown and leaving home and he's been sitting on the couch and has got the empty nest syndrome and hasn't done a sit-up or a push-up in 20 years. How do we get it to where he can walk in and not be scared? The same thing with the moms and the grandmothers even. I love the videos, but I really don't think deadlifting milk jugs in front of the Married with Children sofa is reaching that many people. I think there's better ways we can do this. I don't think bastardizing the games is going to help either.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they've skewed their whole marketing campaign to the elderly
Yeah.
with all of their videos most recently.
Well, and that's for a while, especially with the explosion of CrossFit, you get all of the satellite companies that have done really well. And not that they wouldn't have done really well without the explosion of CrossFit, but Rogue, for instance, or Lynx Barbell. I know Again Faster isn't a powerhouse anymore, but they were for a little while. Ride Equipment, all of these guys that make bumper plates and barbells that nobody ever heard of, and now they're reputable, profitable companies. Thanks to CrossFit, their marketing share isn't the elderly. It isn't the dad or the soccer mom, because that dad is not going to go buy his own custom $400 barbell.
Correct. Yeah.
Whereas you get a 24, 25-year-old guy in there that really wants to make a run at Masters Olympic weightlifting in 10 years, he will go buy that barbell. And I get the opinion that Glassman just doesn't care about that side of it.
Agree. And I would argue the opposite as well. Some of the smaller companies that hit either open their doors because of the CrossFit community or hit a boom because of regional events and things like that is, I would argue that they're suffering from this new format, mainly because a lot of these smaller local companies would sponsor these local guys that are strictly regional athletes, might hit a good year with the right workouts, they might make it to the games, which becomes free marketing for those small companies. Well, now they don't get that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got the individuals in the gym that, everybody approaches this with a little bit of humility, and if you don't have that little bit of humility, CrossFit will help you find it quickly. But every box that I've trained at or coached at, there's always been a handful of athletes that were aspiring to be regionals athletes.
Correct.
Not games athletes. They know that is up here, it's probably unattainable, but I got a few good years left in me, I feel good, I can watch my diet, I can really push, and I can make it to regionals.
Yep.
That's
now it's gone. Or even a team, making it on a team. You're not quite the individual athlete, but if you're with other people whose strengths and weaknesses opposite your own, you don't get that opportunity now.
Yeah, it's gone. I do hate that side of it. Like I don't understand why they changed the Open and did away with the regionals. Again, it's something that I think it needed to be tweaked a little, but I don't think it needed to be completely destroyed and done away with.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how the October Open is going to work. I got to do some more reading on
this year's going to be interesting, yeah.
But having all of the sanctional events and just, the local guy here in Louisiana could train hard and figure out a way, even if it's car washes at the gym or selling T-shirts, can make it over the 3-hour trip to Houston for a regionals weekend. That same guy can't do a car wash and sell T-shirts to make it to a competition in China in hopes that he gets first place to buy a ticket to the games.
Yeah.
And that's not what he was wanting to start with.
Right.
He just wanted to make it to this level.
Yeah, and then if you don't podium there, you go to Dubai. And if you don't podium there, you go to, the Killcliff Granite Games or wherever.
Yeah, you're chasing it.
Yeah.
And
you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
So I think by doing away with the regionals instead of opening the field up, I think they've really shrunken the field down.
Yeah. Now I think they've probably increased the pull to those events.
Yes.
Wodapalooza is getting more than just one big name athlete now. The one in China, I think Vikowski went. You had a lot of big names go to China, and then same thing for the Reykjavik games and all that stuff. I mean, Matt Fraser now has to win, which means he's going to appear in these smaller events that typically he wouldn't have ever messed with.
Yeah, and I do like that. I've thought for years that there needs to be a way for a CrossFit competitive athlete to make a living doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
and this might be that. This might be having these larger sanctioned events that can now pay out a little bit more prize money, and of course that leads to more sponsors and
Sure.
everything else. So on that side of it, it's good, but I relate it to golf a lot because it seems like they're moving toward the same setup the PGA has.
Yeah.
And it ends up being a little bit about talent and a whole lot about pocketbook.
Yes.
Who's got the biggest pocketbook, that's who's going to win this weekend.
Yeah.
Or who gets to go. It's the talent will win if you get there, but you have to get there first.
Right.
And that's the hard part. All right, so we've talked a little bit about Glassman and the games. We get into, I wanted to hit on Castro for just a minute and get some of your thoughts. As I felt like Dave was MIA all year. Like from the time Glassman came out at the end of the games last year and said there would be major changes until the athletes briefing Wednesday night. I feel like Dave was just gone.
Yeah, we know the CrossFit Games removed their Facebook with the games, and the CrossFit page itself were removed from Facebook.
There is no media.
I don't think they're on Instagram. I might be wrong. I haven't followed, but Dave Castro used to post a lot, even hints, like just these completely mundane hints that no one will ever figure out. Because he would, and maybe did that during the Open, but it just wasn't as obvious to me. But the excitement around the games and the Open were way down from years past. I didn't know what was going on during the Open personally. I was still kind of bummed about the change, but up until maybe 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I noticed Dave Castro posted a workout that he did, and that was it.
Yeah, it's been few and far between on his post.
I feel like he's almost maybe this is a little too graphic. I feel like he's almost been neutered a little bit. From the boss, and he still. I still feel like he's running the games, but he's had a lot of control taken that away from him. I think based on what the new rules are going to be. Yeah.
So I wonder if, and this is purely speculative, but I wonder if he's looking for an out now.
Yeah.
If I had been put in that position, mine's okay. Well, fine. This is the way you want it. I'll shut up. I'll bite my tongue. We'll make this work. But the first opportunity I can get.
Yeah, you have to wonder if he's actually enjoying it anymore.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's to me, he is. Dave is as much CrossFit as Castro. There's a lot of people you talk to
don't know who Glassman is.
They don't know who Glassman is.
Yeah. And that probably went into Glassman's decision as well. Castro. More people would probably think Castro is the owner, creator of CrossFit.
Yeah. I would say you're right.
But my thought all along has been, when they made the announcement about the game changes, why would you, if CrossFit and the CrossFit Games were butting heads in Glassman's mind, why not divide the two into two separate entities, completely different companies, with all rights sticking with the CrossFit Games? That way you can still call it the CrossFit Games, because CrossFit's very adamant about who gets to use the word, their trademarks and all that. Allow the CrossFit Games to stay the CrossFit Games and have a, I'm sure there are people out there with the money to pay for the ownership of the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
And then separate the two. Glassman has CrossFit, and then Castro and investors have the games, and they can do. And then you have a sport. You've created a sport now. Instead of basically a byproduct of CrossFit was the games. Now you have the sport of CrossFit with the athletes, and you keep everything how you like. And like I said, I have enjoyed this year. They still could have made the changes with the cuts. I think the cuts are smart from a logistics standpoint. You need less judges, less equipment. You're not watching the same workout for 6-7 heats sometimes.
For hours.
So it is nice from that standpoint, but I always thought that they should have just separated.
Yeah.
The companies.
I can see that on the to play the devil's advocate, or to try to come up with an opposing argument to that. I can see where the games are almost like a marketing division for a company.
Definitely.
And you know, once you reach a certain level, you have to have at any level, you have to have a marketing budget. You have to spend some money on marketing, and you'll never actually see a return on that on paper.
Yeah.
Like if you draw up a profit loss sheet, marketing always loses money because they're not making something to sell.
Yep.
Where it pays for itself is increasing sales of what you are making to sell.
Right.
So, and that's the way I've always looked at the games. Is the games is the marketing for CrossFit.
And Glassman has been quoted to disagree with that.
Yeah.
That the games don't bring people in, and that's completely false.
I don't know how it's not false.
Yeah.
I will say that the man is richer, older, and more successful than I. So
yeah, and he's a very smart individual.
Yeah. And I think the games definitely bring people in, and I don't see the games keeping anybody out.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to not walk into your local box based on, like you said, you're sitting in the parking lot and you're seeing individuals potentially that look intimidating or sound intimidating, you know, because it's not Planet Fitness. You can yell, you can scream, you can. Most boxes still allow you to take your shirt off if you're a man. You know, women wear sports bras. Most of the women are going to be, you know, for instance, at Sling and Iron, very proud of they're very comfortable in their skin. So you see a lot of people, which I think is probably better for a place like Sling and Iron, is people see that people are proud of their accomplishments and they're willing to show, you know, where they've come from.
Yeah, I actually love that. We never get away from that. I think that's one of the best things about CrossFit is just giving people that love of being in their own skin of hey, I built this.
Yeah.
Whether it's, I'm not meaning it looks like Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
It's if you've lost 10 pounds and that was your goal and you're still a little bit overweight, that don't matter. Be proud of it.
Proud of it.
You
Keep moving forward.
Yeah. Keep working at it. CrossFit does a great job of that.
Yeah.
That's you know, I use there's I think it was the 2012 games. Is one of the women's events, and Stacey Tovar was doing terrible in the event, and at the end of it, I think she was the last or one of the last people there, and they zoom out, you know, pan out, and there is every other woman competitor in the game surrounding her, cheering her on. And I've used that as a means to show people what CrossFit is over and over and over again. It's not intimidating. We're all here for each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, without the games, I wouldn't have that little snapshot.
Right.
Wouldn't be able to show that.
Get goosebumps. I love those. Yeah, there's always moments like that every year. There's always at least one moment where there's something inspirational like that. You know, that's awesome.
All right. Saying that, did you watch the clean event?
I did. Yeah.
Did you watch the Noah Olson tiebreaker?
It's so important, and I had this conversation this weekend. It's so important, and I think a lot of it has to do with Olson being a veteran, and Saxon has some experience. But there's a big difference in knowing you're wearing a chip timer, and the difference is Olson had a more direct line. He went straight for the red line.
He lifted that ankle up.
And Saxon kind of had more of a lob, and that 3/100ths of a second. And I think Saxon had him.
It was the chip.
It's just the fact that, you know, Noah slammed the bar into the ground. It didn't bounce up as high, if you notice that. Saxon had to really step over, and that just, you know, those little milliseconds.
That was probably my favorite finish I've seen in the games. That was great.
And I was happy for Noah. That made a big difference going into the swim event Sunday morning because he had a 15-point lead instead of a 5.
Yeah.
That would have made a big difference. But just to stick to with the clean, I will say I didn't like a lot of. I think the crowd liked it when the women got to the final bar. They both lifted the bar. I was excited to see the tie break because of the Noah Olson. And I think the women went first, so I guess I didn't know that coming. But I was excited to see a tie break of the women at 195, knowing that they'll probably do 5 touch and go.
Yeah.
Based on how they lifted, especially Barnhart. I mean, she could have power cleaned probably most of that ladder, and I think she probably just started squat cleaning to get her legs warm.
Yeah, to get ready for it.
But when they added 5 more pounds to the bar off of the prescribed workout, they went above the workout.
Yeah.
To me, I was a little upset about that.
And I can see that.
The crowd wanted to see more weight lifted. That's awesome. But to me, if I'm with Barnhart, right? That's her.
Yeah.
Thank you. If I'm her, I finished the workout. We're supposed to do a tiebreaker now.
You're supposed to allow me to.
I think she has more drive and clean power than Tia does.
Faster.
And I feel like she could have made up some points there.
That's to be honest with you, I've not looked at it that way. I don't like that they varied from the rules. You know, you said this is the workout.
I completed the workout.
Yeah, you don't change it. Yeah. But I've not thought about it as a means of Barnhart having a claim that she should have won the workout, or should have had the opportunity to win the workout.
Yeah.
By continuing to go up, you know, and it's one of those things where, you know, I'm always for the underdog. So.
It's only a 10-point swing.
Yeah,
at that point.
It's not terrible, but to throw a clean ladder in, it was a fun event to watch. I absolutely loved it. I knew when they said clean ladder, okay, Tia and Fraser's going to win.
Yeah,
it's both of them.
She has an Olympic lifting background. So does he. Yeah.
You know, they're built for Ole. Like they've got the right body. They've got the right levers. They both train it. I mean, she's been on an Olympic stage. It is their wheelhouse.
It's just experience.
Yeah.
I mean, the weight was one thing, but just experience under that pressure, being alone on that platform,
having to cycle lifts like that, and walk out on that platform. And now, one thing I enjoyed watching Panchik and Fraser both were hyping the crowd to knowing, you know, they were up on their feet, and that's awesome. That's I wish you could see that kind of excitement at some weightlifting meets. So if any of y'all are listening and have a local weightlifting meet, please go watch and cheer on the lifters. Nobody ever goes to those things.
If they'll let you cheer.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The USAW, or United States Weightlifting Association, is very old school.
Traditional.
Is that? Yeah, traditional. Yeah. No bar slams. You know, very calm. No yelling and cheering. But all right, so you know we're already into it. Let's hit the game. So we got event 1 right off the bat. To me, it's a straight up CrossFit workout. I loved it, but to me also it was programmed to protect a core group of athletes from the cuts.
Yeah.
Again, that's an opinion. I have absolutely nothing to base it on. What's your thoughts?
Well, like I stated earlier, in our, the 185 weight for any games athlete is not difficult. Yeah. Other than being on a grass field and having some balance issues potentially, or just trying to go too fast. You saw Vellner out of position a lot. He was a big obvious. He didn't look right snatching every round. But yeah, the 185 for those guys was easy. It's where you saw the bottom 75 athletes really struggling. Yep. Maybe not early on. Even on the first round, you saw some guys just unable to get into a good snatch position, probably because that's close to their 1 rep max.
Yeah, it is. And that's a 185 power snatch. That's not anything to scoff at. That's, for the majority of people walking around, that's good.
Yeah. But other than that, the legless rope climb, I was worried. Watching, what is this, event number 9, I guess, 10 going on?
Yeah, the rings.
That would be difficult.
Yeah. You just have to control that swing.
Yeah. Good kip.
Yeah.
But the legless rope climb, for the men, I wasn't worried about. I think you saw a majority of the field, they did okay. There were some people who probably just never trained that. Yeah. And that's just, this is going to happen. But I was concerned with the women with that.
Yeah.
I was surprised as many women finished because I sent you a text during the women's event. I wish they had made it 2 legless rope climbs for the women, and then I kind of took that back once I saw the I guess top 75 go, and they didn't have any issue because I think the top women's time beat the top men's time. If I'm not
sure, I have
mistaken.
to go back and look at it.
And they're snatching 130, which is ridiculously impressive for reps.
It is, but it does that go? Of course, I don't have a calculator in front of me, but does that follow suit with CrossFit's traditional scale
Of the percentages?
Percentages? Yeah. What is 130 as a percentage of 185?
It is 72%.
So normally I think you scale at 60%. So that's a little bit more of a scale than you normally see, especially with HQ posting a workout.
Right. Yeah, because that was the CrossFit workout for the day.
Yeah. So that might have something to do with the women faring a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you drop the scale a little bit. And I'm saying scale. I shouldn't say scale. Modifying for.
Right. But as a workout, to cut the field down, I feel like I was okay with it as a workout because it involved cardio, a gymnastic, a very difficult gymnastic being legless, and then a relatively heavy barbell. If they'd made it lighter, you could have potentially seen, like if it had been a 155, 135 or so for the male, you may have seen some national champ cardio bunny just take it.
So that's where, of course, I'm cynical, and I pose it in a cynical way, and I shouldn't, of saying, you know, that workout was meant to protect a core group of athletes from that first cut.
Yeah. Castro knew the top 40
right.
were going to complete this in order.
I should throw in there, would I have done differently being Castro? No. And that's because we are talking about CrossFit, and it is my sport, and I want people that are not CrossFitters that snuck in gone. You know? But if we're going to claim we are the fittest on earth, then I would have liked to have seen either a second workout before the first cut, or maybe take that 400-meter run and turn it into an 800. Keep everything else the same. Just go to a longer run. So a 400-meter run is nothing in the CrossFit world.
Yeah, for a CrossFit athlete, that is a chance to recover.
You catch your breath.
200 to 400 meters is a recovery. 800 meters, you actually have to kind of, I mean, especially if it's 4 rounds, you're talking about a long distance.
Yeah. And I'm going to, and I've not followed him much, and I'm not even sure what, I can't say his name, but the Spartan racer that got one of the wild cards.
McIntyre.
Yeah. I've not followed him at all. I'm assuming he got cut.
He got cut after event 2.
Okay.
He did make it through the first round. I never saw him. They never showed him specifically on camera, but he was in there somewhere. But he did make it past the first cut.
Okay. So that took a whole lot of wind out of my sail. But
athlete in the world.
Yeah.
According to this year's CrossFit Games.
That's still impressive. To not be that he can come and do that many snatches at once.
Sure, and I'm sure he made up a lot of time on the run.
Yeah,
legless rope climb for him isn't going to be an issue. Where he would have struggled would have been the snatch. But I know that he apparently does have pretty decent lifting numbers. Yeah, because he does CrossFit he's done the Open, and that's where the community got
started following.
He does the Open and didn't make it through any other means to the games and was still given a wild card.
Okay,
but I don't think he'll receive that in the future.
Probably not. But I do think if you lengthen that run, it would be a more inclusive fitness workout and a little less exclusive CrossFit workout.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I want to go do it at 800 meters.
No, I would not touch that. I would not touch that where it lies right now, much less 800.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about the first event, and that kind of sums up my views on the first cut. I like the cuts, much more than I thought I was going to. And like I told Marshall earlier today, I'm going to eat a little crow over it because I thought it was going to be just a clusterfuck. And I have enjoyed watching the games. I enjoy the cuts. I don't necessarily enjoy the placement of the cuts or who they're cutting, but if I'm a fan of yours and you get cut, I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
But I do like that there's cuts. So the second cut came after the It's an 800-meter row, 66 kettlebell
Yeah.
jerks, and the 132-foot handstand walk.
I felt like this was a slightly underwhelming workout,
Yeah.
and I think it came down to the weight.
Yeah.
66 kettlebell jerks is a lot, but at 16 kilograms, that's the 35-pound for the men in each arm.
It's nothing.
They're going to go unbroken.
Yeah.
I think they had to take steps forward, so that gave them a little bit of rest, but they just put it on the shoulders, took a step, and kept going. 800-meter row, that's not a lot for a CrossFitter. You're doing a 500-meter for a warm-up, and
You're talking about 3 minutes?
I don't know,
For at this level?
Yeah. The handstand walk is another gymnastic element they put in there to cut athletes that cannot handstand walk, and I'm
Right.
fine with that.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, that's kind of a minimum work requirement.
Yeah.
But the 800 meter and the kettlebell jerks were odd for me at how they were set.
That is, I thought the same thing about it being light.
Not to say that I can go out there and do 66 unbroken, but
No, not
they
at all.
are. And
But if I was going to modify that workout for myself, I'm going to do the 800-meter row, but or if I was writing that workout for myself,
Right.
I would never go to the 35s.
yeah,
Like I've just it's conditioned for men in CrossFit to go to the 1.5 poo. Just
Right.
go get the 53 or the 55 and make it work. And I think it would have been a better workout.
yes, you'd have had to put it down.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have been putting it down at
the-
16 kilograms, but these guys going unbroken. It was meant to be short and fast
Yeah.
to get over with.
What I saw, and I could be wrong, but the people that capped out didn't cap out because they couldn't make it through the jerks. They capped out because they couldn't handstand.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think you go heavier on the kettlebells, and it just makes it a more balanced workout.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But as a cut, I'm okay with that workout as a cut just because of the handstand walk.
Yeah.
But the other elements were just meant to just not even a
Yeah.
hurdle to get to the handstand walk.
I love this. So we're watching the live stream currently, and they're doing the burpee to rings. And I've not seen burpees to a target in a CrossFit competition,
Especially one
at
like
that
this.
level.
Yeah.
I guess since the Open, 2013 Open, there was a snatch with a burpee to a target at
Yeah.
6-inch wad, and it was just brutal. But to me, that's the only way you can make a burpee fair in competition.
Yeah. Now is it they're doing the rings? Are the rings measured based on their height?
I don't know.
Because that
I
would
don't
be because granted most of these women are similarly high size, but if you're 3-4 inches shorter than the rest of the field, I'm curious. Or if you're taller, it's even more advantageous. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it is interesting to see that. That's ensuring everybody comes to full extension. There's really no need to judge unless you just miss the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate burpees.
Yeah. All right. We'll get back onto this. So second cut, we got through that.
Yeah, we're down to 50.
Yeah. And then jumped into the ruck. So a couple things going into the ruck. Super happy to see Carrie Pierce going into day 2 in the lead.
Yep.
For a couple of reasons. One, she's got an awesome Instagram account. If you don't follow her, go follow her. She puts out a ton of good content. Secondly, it was nice to see an American woman actually winning for the first time in years and years and years. So that was nice. But the ruck, so my background, I've done some rucks. I've done a couple of Go Ruck challenges now. I enjoy training with a ruck. I don't know how many CrossFit people do. What I will say is that a ruck will hurt you in ways that CrossFit doesn't.
You can tell the difference between the ones who have done moving weight over long periods of time and distance versus those who didn't. You can see the difference in the way their bodies moved on that fourth 1,500 meter round. You could tell those who had still good posture
And
versus those
versus caving.
I mean, you could see
over.
people. And Thor's daughter stopped and bent over.
Yeah.
At one point, and that's a top 10 athlete, even though she's not a top 10 athlete this year.
She is. Though.
She is a top 10
One of the best
athlete,
in the world.
and she had to stop and bend over because she's never trained it.
Yeah, that's just wild. So, on the women's side, that completely upset the leaderboard, not upset the leaderboard, but knocked Carrie Pierce out, put Tia back in the lead.
Yeah.
And she has not come off of that lead. Unfortunately, Carrie Pierce has had a couple of more bad finishes. She's had some great finishes too, but a couple of bad ones. That's
Tia's just pulling away.
Yeah, pulling away from all of them. So I'd love to see Carrie Pierce get back into the second or third position.
Yep.
But
it appears Shadburn might be the American that has the best chance.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Amanda Barnhart.
Yeah, and she's impressive to watch. Definitely, and to be so young, she's going to be a powerhouse.
Yeah, she'll be back.
It'll come.
Yeah.
But on the rock, all right. So on the men's side, of course, the men that were in the lead going into Friday did not do well in the ruck.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't train rucking. But to pat them on the back, the average time per mile is something that I didn't think I would see. Like, that caught me off.
Without weight, I'm not able to do it, much less with 20, 30, 40, and 50 pounds.
Just to be able to hold that, super impressive.
Holberg had a 6-minute average.
Yeah.
Which is, it's you're a quarter of a mile off of 4 total miles. And to do basically a 6-minute average with an increasing weight is ridiculous. Yeah. It's I'll never try this workout.
No, well,
not the way it's written.
I won't say that I won't try it. I won't try it with a 40-minute count for sure. One, because you're not supposed to run with a ruck.
I think if you looked close on, I saw it on Panchik's back especially, but if you look close on certain athletes, they had rub marks.
Yeah, Camille posted a picture of hers. That's terrible. But even in the military, like, they'll tell you to do a shuffle. You don't run with your ruck. Like, it's just bad. But anyway, they did, and it was great. So every lap they had to add weight. And I liked that the athlete had to stop, take their pack off, add their own weight, and then start back on the run. It added a nice little break in there, a chance for them to recover a little bit, and then also a mental game of, you have to stand back up and put this heavy damn thing back on and go again. Yeah. It also led to Frazier getting a penalty, and what I would say was the start to allowing Noah to come in, take over Frazier's lead, not the cause of it, but the start of it. Like, Frazier's placement in the ruck started a series of. I would say he's more lucky than Frazier is more lucky than you're giving him credit, and this is all hearsay. So from listening to podcasts. According to one media individual who heard from another media individual who heard from an athlete. So we're talking about a lot of lines here that can get, grayed. But according to the athlete at the media briefing for the workout briefing for the athletes, if you lose weight and do not finish with your intended weight, 5-minute penalty. Yeah. Frazier received a 1-minute penalty. So I'm not going to speculate. It could have been much worse.
It should have been much worse, because typically CrossFit they're not soft with their penalties. If 3-year ban for PEDs. Right. If your video is a little weird looking, you're disqualified from the workout in the open, and if you don't have one open workout score, you're out.
Unless you're certain
people. Hebner's not one of those individuals, apparently. No. But they're very strict. They set a rule and they stick to it, and it sucks most of the time.
And that's the way it should be.
But if it's true that this should have been a 5-minute penalty, and he got a 1, I'm just curious as to why. But
I'd like to know why, and then if you factor that in, that puts him so. Even with the penalty, he still beat Noah in the ruck. Yeah. So Noah's doing well can't be attributed to that. I'm meaning more that Frazier seems to have let it get into his mind for the next event more than anyway.
Yeah. But Frazier also had an issue with the next event.
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Yep.
Which is, you're talking half a second, but in a minute 25-second workout.
All right, so let's look at that. So I'm not sure what the slowest time was on the ruck or even the fastest time on the ruck was, but it had a 40-minute time cap.
Yeah, and everybody did finish under the cap.
Yeah, everybody beat the cap. So if Hebner averaged 6 minutes, you got 4 rounds.
Homer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's coming in at 24 minutes.
He's just like a couple seconds over 24 minutes. Yeah.
All right. So so if you take the 24 minutes and you factor a 1 minute penalty for losing weight, or a 1 minute penalty for anything.
Yeah.
What is that percentage versus look at the penalty Brooke Wells assessed on the sprint workout, where the average pace of the workout was 28 seconds.
I did not get to see why she was penalized.
She stepped out of her lane.
Okay, so they penalized her 10 seconds.
10 seconds on a 28-second
for
workout.
going wider.
Yeah.
And actually taking longer.
So
you're actually self-penalized.
Yeah.
Because in order to step outside your line, you are now further away from where you need to be.
Yeah. And now, if you're cutting, it might be faster to swing out than to stop and cut.
Yeah.
But
I would argue maybe not, but that's only if you know what you're doing, the tighter you can go and the more explosive you can be,
the faster.
That's where you want to be. But most people don't know how to run those cones, whatever you want to call them.
But what I'm getting at is the percentage for the penalty doesn't match.
Yeah. You're talking about a 30% penalty versus a whatever, 1 divided by 24 is.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
But you give a person a 10-second penalty on a 28-second workout, they lose.
Yeah.
There is you can't come back.
And that led to her, I don't know if she would have made it to the next round.
Yeah.
But she did get cut.
Right after that.
I think right after that. She might have made it to Mary. I don't remember.
No, I think she got cut in after the sprint. But anyway, so the ruck, it happened. It was great. I was proud to see them bring the owner of Go Ruck in, let him talk about his company. Go Rucks are excellent events. If you have the opportunity, train for one, go do one. It's team building like nothing else. It is not a competition at all. Start with a light. Don't jump into it tough. Right.
Yeah, I'm still working towards the light. Yeah.
All right. So after the ruck, we got into the sprint complet. We hit on the sprint a little bit. The sprints definitely went fast. I like watching them sprint. Like it's cool. It's cool to me to see. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the wrong
sprint couplet.
This is the sprint.
This is the sled push, bar muscle up, sled push. Yeah.
All right, so let me say this right now. I despise the fact that Matt Frazier is everybody's golden boy. It kills me that the announcers just talk him up. It's like if you're a college football fan and watching any team play Alabama. You just want to tell the commentators.
Unless you're an Alabama fan.
And,
That's the only... I'm not a Frazier fan, but it's like... I despise the Patriots because they've been dominant for so long.
Yeah,
but if you're a Patriots fan, of course you're happy Tom Brady has 6 Super Bowl rings. Yeah.
But watching it and it's a good one. I like the sled push, the bar muscle ups, the sled push backs. 9 out of every of the 10 athletes out there hit that sled too high right off the bat. It's an interesting design. Interesting design on the sled. And if you've ever pushed one, you don't hit it high. You hit it mid-level and just up.
Yeah. And these guys should know that.
Oh, absolutely. They should know that. But
I do find it odd, and they allowed everybody to do it, so it wasn't it's the ready, set, go, the 3-second kind of where they don't have a clue when the bell's about to ring.
Yeah.
They allowed them to sprint the gap between the start line and the sled, which can be very advantageous if you're really good on the start.
Yeah.
If you are waiting for the ring to move, or you hit I don't know if they would make them start over if they hit it too early. But you can make up a 1/10 of a second, which in a minute 26-second workout makes a difference. And if you dig into the ground and lose half a second, makes a difference.
But if you go back and watch that one, watch Frazier's heat, and one of the first things the commentators, oh no, he dug it into the ground. That's the only reason he's going so slow. All right, not to be mean, he is the fittest man currently in the world. that may change later today, but right now he is the fittest man in the world. He didn't lose a sprint because he dug his sled into the ground. He lost a sprint workout because his legs were this long. That's just.
And most of those guys' legs are short.
Yeah,
most of these guys are 5'6" to 10. Yeah,
we're CrossFitters. We're not sprinters.
Yeah.
But that was a really good workout, and one thing that I loved watching about it was everybody like pushed it with all they had. That first sled push, they went unbroken on the bar muscle ups, and then was like they were running in mud on the way back.
Yeah. Which is why it was so impressive watching Amanda not only sprint the sled back, but she caught up and passed another female athlete on the final sprint.
So one I enjoyed watching on that doesn't get, she's never really in the top 10, but is always at the games. It's fun to watch. Colleen Foch.
Mm-hmm.
Super strong, but not super fast. She had a good performance on that workout.
It's just leg drive.
It is. It's strength and being able to keep that engine going.
Because you're looking at 40 athletes at this point, which is just under your typical games entries. Those guys and girls can do 15 and 18 bar muscle ups unbroken. So that's not where the workout was. It was in that second sled push.
It's one that I would like to test. I'd like to set it up, cut the bar muscle ups down a little bit. But I would like to see if you go all out on that first sled push, then do your muscle ups and go back to it and just finish as fast as you can, versus pacing the first one, doing the bar muscle ups, and then trying to accelerate through the second one.
I don't know if it makes a difference.
I don't either.
For me personally, like the muscle up number would have to be something that I can potentially go unbroken on if I really push, or just 2 sets.
We're talking like 3 for me.
And then, I mean, the commentators mentioned if you do this fast enough, you're outpacing fatigue. If you're able to go fast enough, it'll hit you on the backside. So if you push through the little bit of pain on the sled push,
but but you're not. You can't outpace that anaerobic threshold.
Oh no! I mean, if
you're still going, you're not going to feel the muscle fatigue.
Yeah. But
your lungs are going to be done.
Yes. The goal is to get finished before your legs turn to jello.
Yes.
And just burn up on fire. Yeah.
So side note in that, Strong Fit, Julian Penu. I have a hard time saying that.
I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah, preaches the sled push for just going out and finding a way to get back into that red zone.
Yeah.
And not pace a workout. So I thought about him and his views on strength training. Watching that workout.
Yeah, he wouldn't implement the muscle ups. I don't know if they would do that.
No.
But they would put something. Yeah.
He'd probably have them push the sled down, sprint back with a rope, and then pull the sled back and then push it back down.
Yeah.
But very similar training.
Timmy made up some time on that one.
She did good.
Pierce came off the rings.
Fighting that swing.
Yeah, that's a difficult movement.
Yeah.
Anything ring the toes is a difficult movement. And at that point, after this workout, the sprint couplet, you're down to 30. I feel like they cut the field down a hair too fast.
Okay.
I know we haven't gotten to Mary yet, but I would have preferred to see you cut to 10 athletes on Saturday, not have 10 ready. Not have your 10 cut for Saturday morning, but to have your 10 for Sunday. So use Friday, Saturday to allow the 20 athletes to still jump through the leaderboard, because you can make. I mean, Vellner is the face of that, of being able to come back from a bad first day, and he didn't have the opportunity because he was cut on Friday. Or he was cut Saturday morning. I'm sorry.
Yeah. My cut, I like cutting to 20 after Mary.
Yeah.
I probably would not have cut to 30. I would have just eliminated that. I would have cut from 40 to 20 after the sprint couplet after Mary.
Okay.
I don't like cutting after the sprint just because what we just talked about, CrossFitters aren't necessarily natural sprinters.
Well, and most people aren't natural sprinters, but sprinting is not something. I'm sorry. You can get better at sprinting. You
Yes.
cannot get better at being fast. You either are fast
Or you're not. Yes.
It's a quick twitch muscle. And the sprints they were doing, they were sprinting, but you're talking about 100 meters down, turn around, and then 80 meters back, and then within the last
And
20
then
meters, you're doing zigzags, and that's something you can work time on, but you're either fast or you're not.
You can improve your own time, but you're not going to beat someone who is genetically better.
Yeah, it's a trait. Speed is a trait.
Right. It's
You can be a good sprinter because you can learn how to get the most out of your speed.
right. So that's why I don't like the cut to 10.
I don't think that should not have been a cut event.
Maybe. Well, no, I'm going to agree with you on this. I like cutting to 20 after Mary, and I would have cut to 10 for Sunday, but I would have done it after the cleans.
I would have done it after the clean. And the reason I say the clean as opposed to the middle workout for Saturday, the split triplet, is the amount of women that couldn't lift the opening weight
Yeah.
was a little disheartening. And that's
But that's an
improvement.
instant cut.
That's in the past, if you don't do the minimum work, you're out.
You're going. Yeah.
So I kind of thought that might have happened. It didn't. But all of them should have gotten to the clean. It would have been more fun to watch a more competitive clean because there were guys that got cut from the sprint
Right.
who could have gotten to 385.
That could have made the weight. The same with the girls. I mean, just Annie's didn't start out as a very strong lifter, but she has come a long way in the past years.
Yeah.
As a lifter, being an older athlete now is going to perform better at a clean ladder than a sprint.
Yeah, Brooke Wells is a stronger,
Oh yes, absolutely
stronger athlete, and she didn't get a chance to touch a barbell other than the snatches.
Yeah, way back there.
On Thursday.
So that's definitely something they could have done a better job of.
Yeah.
And it really wouldn't have affected anything. 20 athletes on the clean ladder versus 10, you're not talking about increasing your time very much. And it was a really fun event to watch.
It was.
So.
It would have been a little slower to watch individually, one at a time, but you still would have cut after maybe the first 4 or 5 lifts. You'd have started having 3 or 4 athletes going out, and you'd have had more tie breaks, which is where the excitement was. Except until you got to the really, really heavy barbells.
So, talking about the cuts, one of the things that I've really liked about it is how competitive it has made each event. As I feel like the last 3 games, really the last 3 years of games, have lost me as far as interest-wise because
They've been
who's
on
going
Saturday.
to win.
Yeah.
Really Saturday,
Yep.
sometime mid-Saturday, who is going to win because the points are it's mathematically impossible.
Yep.
And the one thing that the cut does is allow the remaining athletes to get a bigger block of points with less fodder in between.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean fodder. I'm not trying to be insulting to any of these athletes that are getting cut. I don't mean them as fodder. But right now, we're looking at a good tight battle between Olsen, Frazier, Panchek, and I can't say his name.
BKG.
Yeah.
We'll just go there.
I like that.
That's how I've gotten written in all my notes. Yeah.
Whereas last year's system probably would have been those same 4 in the top
Yeah.
4, but we would have known, okay, Frazier's going to win because he had a better day Saturday or a better day Friday. And then the other 3, second place is probably set in stone. 3rd and 4th might be a chase. It's just not fun to watch.
Yeah.
Whereas cutting and getting it to where instead of having, a possible 1,000 points distributed between 40 athletes, now you've got a possible 1,000 points distributed between 10.
Yeah.
That you can lose some ground and you can make up some ground in a hurry.
Yeah, a little mistake can be very costly, and a big performance can be very rewarding.
Right.
Yeah.
And where it really, and we're saying that, of course, Tia's running away with the women's, but it's because there's not a consistent second place athlete in the women's this year.
Yeah.
She's been consistent with performing well through most all of the workouts.
Yeah.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th have been kind of bouncing,
And I think that's just from the weekend. I think a lot of these on the female athlete side is you're seeing just the toll of the weekend catching up because Carrie Pierce is struggling right now with the workout they're in.
At all.
But for her to go out and complete the amount of rounds on Mary that she did,
that was
and they were strict handstand push-ups.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. I mean, and to do all 15 pull-ups unbroken for all 23 rounds, I think she completed. That's a lot of pull-ups. How is she able to put her arms above her head the next morning and go out for a sprint?
And it definitely, factored in.
Yeah.
But the men's side is competitive for the first time, and I'm not gonna say for the first time in 3 years, just because it's been Fraser.
Yeah.
The men's side is competitive for probably the first time in 6 years. Because Froning in the last few years, all he had to do is not drop out of a workout to win on Sunday, and it shouldn't be that way. You should go in unless there is a clear I have walked away with this. Sunday should be a good challenging day.
Yeah,
at least between first, second, third.
And in CrossFit, that shouldn't necessarily be where I pick an athlete because of his dominance. If I for the Fraser fans out there, if you're from, I don't know where he's from, if he's a local guy, I'd go for him. There's nobody local to us here, so I stick to certain athletes. But to want to see Fraser get 4 just to get 4, I don't get that.
No,
it's great seeing that he's got to put his head down. If he wins this year, it's because he put his head down.
He's had to fight for it.
Mm-hmm. So at least there's that. I'll give him that. But it's Noah Olson. He's come a long way, and it's great to see him in first place.
He's come a long way, and he's done a really good job. Like you watch him and Fraser side by side on Mary, he beat Fraser.
Yeah,
there's always going to be talk of, well, they were gaming this, they were gaming that, this happened, blah 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 blah. No, they were side by side. They were both trying to win that workout, and Noah did.
Yeah, Fraser wins that one. The point difference is, I think, 5 at that point.
Yeah.
He goes into the next workout at the sprint. That's what hurt him there too.
Yeah.
But it changes it up if he's able. If Fraser gets 3 more reps and Noah Olson has his score, then it changes up everything. So
it's
the composure of Olson this year versus in the past. He's always had some mental challenges.
And gaps, and
gaps in his training, sure.
In Olson, and something I saw him do on the cleans that I thought was real impressive. He did the tiebreaker, but he didn't make a second attempt at, was it 3:35?
I was yelling at the television last night because every athlete took a second attempt, and if you think you can get it, go for it. Yeah. But based on your first lift, and I'm watching from home, I'm nowhere near as in tune with your body as you are. And you go for a second lift, I don't understand the expenditure of energy there.
Right.
Knowing you've got to go into a tiebreaker with less rest than the person that failed before you.
It's too much risk. But I thought that showed Noah's maturity to miss the lift, stand up, say, okay, let's walk over here.
You know what? I'm going to start my rest right now.
And that's where I think he's showing his maturity a little more than Fraser at this point. Is with the coming out with the swim this morning. Of course, Fraser won the cleans and done it beautifully. Him and Panchek had a good chase there at the end. He stood the 385 up,
no problem.
He actually bobbled a little bit on the 3.
So 75, I think. I think he caught it way back.
Yeah, but it was a technique.
But it was a struggle to get up.
It wasn't a strength issue.
He put out more energy on that lift than the others.
But it's fun to watch him clean. He's magnificent. He moves super well. It's great, and I like that. Noah wasn't about to try to chase that.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
I've missed this
He's
one. Cool.
Playing
Let's
his
move
game.
on.
Yeah,
let's get him somewhere else.
And he did great on the swim.
That's it. Noah come out. He did what he needed to do with the swim. He didn't try to catch McLeod.
Yeah,
which there was no
catching.
There's no reason to. With Matt coming in first, Matt McLeod coming in first, Noah coming in second, there's no benefit to trying to run that race.
Yeah.
So he just held back, made sure he was in front of Frazier, and I was really impressed after they made the turn. You know, if you're watching Roe, you could hear, I think it's Dan Bailey said Frazier's about to start making his move, and you can almost see Noah look back and say, okay,
yeah, it's not
and
gonna
just
happen.
pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, and so Noah come in second, Frazier come in fifth out of that.
And there's no point in chasing somebody in the water.
No,
And
you have to swim your own
unless
pace.
unless it's a 10-meter gap,
Yeah.
you're just not gonna make it up.
Yeah,
That's just not gonna happen.
You gotta swim at your own ability.
Yeah.
But I'm anxious to see these next two men's workouts because to me, with Frazier coming in fifth and Noah coming in second, that changed it from okay, we're neck and neck, to now Frazier not only has to do good in a workout, he has to hope Noah does bad.
Well, and that's where I think we're gonna see Frazier. He's gonna. I don't know. He mentioned last night in his post lift interview is that he's going for broke.
Yeah.
And when you go for broke on 50 assault bike calories, 30, 20, 10,
you don't step off of that thing either.
toes to bar aren't going to be the thing. The toes to rings aren't going to be the thing here. But if he goes and does 30 calories in 11, 12 seconds,
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see if he can get back on the bike for 20. I mean, going for broke on an assault bike can ruin your workout.
Yeah.
And he's going to be going 110%. It could end up biting him in his ass.
Well, it's very reminiscent of Rich's last win against Frazier.
Right. Yeah.
Where Frazier come out early on Sunday and just sent it.
Yep.
And then it caught him hard.
Makes
Sunday
it exciting.
afternoon.
Yeah, it'll make it exciting going into the evening.
So I'm looking forward to watching it. We've been watching the women's, and it's great. You know, they're doing a good job on their overhead squats. I love the burpees to a target because I don't care how fit you are, burpees suck.
But yeah, so they're in the ringer. Women just finished the ringer. Men are going to start, I guess, here in a few minutes. It'll be interesting to see if Matt's going to just send it on the bike and hold, because it's going to be fast. It's 7-minute cap or 6-minute cap for the men.
Women were finishing 5:30.
Yeah, I could see somebody going for just sub 5, 4.5, 5 on this. Just because the bike for the men, it could be even less than that. I guess the women had the same calories. So
well, and again, this goes back to the cuts. One thing that I like about the cuts is you've got a bunch of like athletes going against each other in this workout. Whereas if you look back at the field on Friday or Thursday, there is some super conditioned athletes that would beat all 10 of the guys in the lead right now.
You have specialists. The cuts the way they've been, regardless of the order of the workouts, you're going to have 10 very similar athletes.
Right.
Because they've made it through the other workouts.
And they're well-rounded. I think some of the cuts could have been staged differently to make it more well-rounded.
Yeah.
But as far as CrossFit goes, I think we're looking at the 10 best female and 10 best male CrossFitters. I don't want to say in the world right now because I still miss regionals, but out of the people that were there, I think we're looking at the best.
I'm kind of iffy on that. I think we're looking at the top. You're looking at the top 10 based on this year's games workouts. I don't know if they're the fittest in the world.
Yeah, I don't.
Because if you change the workouts or the order of the workouts, maybe things change.
Yeah.
Or if you change the cut line, maybe things change. But
well, like I said,
it doesn't take away from any of these women or men. They are still the top 75 athletes, and I'm proud. I'm glad that they did the national champ thing. I think it's great, but maybe in the future you hold and this is Tom Marquez's idea, is you hold a World Cup, and it's your national champions. Unless they made it through other means, they have the ability to come here, do some form of workout for a national or a World Cup type thing, like in soccer, I guess.
Yeah.
And then if you made the cut through the games or if they set a certain benchmark, if you're a national champ and you still made this benchmark, you're invited to games. If you didn't, you can come and you're going to be part of the World Cup.
I like that.
And it's
I like
just
that a lot.
it's a side, maybe something to do while they're setting up other aspects of
Yeah.
the competition across,
It's almost a double elimination
Yeah.
setup, but I think the cuts could have been made differently. I know Brooke Wells and Annie are
Amy Thor's
both
daughter,
very outspoken about being cut after the sprint.
Sigmund's daughter was a big favorite for a lot of people.
Yeah. Now I was so I don't mind her being cut, and it's just I'm a huge fan of Sarah Sigmund's daughter.
Tell us why.
Beautiful smile.
Yeah.
But she did not perform well all weekend.
No.
So would I like to have seen her on the clean ladder? Absolutely. Do I think it would have made her better in the standings as a fit person? Not really.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The performance wasn't there beforehand.
Yeah.
And I guess the same argument could be made for Annie and Brooke Wells too. Well, they should have done better back here somewhere.
Yeah.
But none of these workouts are in their wheelhouse, whereas these workouts are.
And that comes to order of offense and how that drastically changes your cut line. Yeah. But you can't control. None of the athletes knew the order.
No.
Which you'll hear from athletes that the anxiety of not knowing greatly affected them, and then some athletes, probably the more veteran, it didn't matter because they were going to have to do it anyway.
That's
all it changes is what you warm up and how you stay warm.
It might have been Holt. Is it Holt or Holt?
Yeah.
I want to say it was her, and if I'm giving her someone else's credit, I apologize. But they were interviewing her and asking her that question out. How do you deal with not knowing what's coming up or not knowing how to game or pace a workout? And she's just like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do the workout to the best of my ability. And that's what everyone else should do. And that's true.
I mean, they didn't find out the second they went to the start line. They found out the morning of, and then that's the coach's job and the athletes knowing themselves how to pace a workout.
Well, and there's...
For the veteran athletes, at least.
It doesn't matter what level you're at. Once you've been in this for a couple of years, you can look at a workout and know within a matter of minutes, okay, I need to push here, I need to step off here, I need to calm down about this movement. Off of your own strengths. That's, talking about the sled push. I'm not going to approach a sled push bar muscle up workout the same way that you are. Because you're going to be better on the bar, I'm probably going to be a little better on the sled. Of course, that one is just go as hard as you can.
So the way it's set up there, that's just a go.
But I really thought that we were going to see the end of the CrossFit Games. Of course, that sounds, Armageddon.
Sounds extreme. Yeah, but I agree. I thought it was the slow death was coming.
Yeah. But I've been pleasantly surprised. I've enjoyed the games this year more than I have in a long time. Just as far as watching it as a fan, watching it from a sport aspect. There's some things missing that I hope come back. There wasn't as much buzz leading up to the games, and that's because they killed the update show and CrossFit's media. And I wish they would, come back to that. Rogue has done an excellent job with their Iron Horse media.
The Rogue Iron Game, I think is what they're calling it. Yeah.
So Rogue has done a great job, and it was one of them little rumors back before the Invitational that Rogue might be buying the games. If anybody from Rogue's listening, do it. Do it now.
Yeah. Dave Castro has family money. Just sell the ranch.
Yeah.
Buy the games.
But it's been fun to watch. So things that to go back and recap for me, I hate that they screwed up the Open. I've been a part of 7 Opens now, and the excitement and buzz of getting new people involved in the Open and excited about the Open has always been a wonderful thing and a fun thing, and they destroyed that. Like,
this is the first year I did not participate in the Open.
Yeah.
Although I'll have the opportunity to participate in a 2019 Open come October.
But from a coaching standpoint, me and Justin, it was kind of hit or miss. You'd have one night where it was you could drum it up, you could be that guy, you could be the hype guy, and then the next Friday was just it's just terrible. Why are we even doing this? And that was a lot of not having good announcements. The way they did the announcements was terrible.
Yeah, the first week I think it was in French because it was in France.
It was just not up to par. It's not what we expect as a community, and that's not games people. That's the community of CrossFit. That's we expected better, and shame on Glassman for
allowing that to happen.
Yeah. So not having regionals was a big hit, especially in our own box where there's has been for the last couple of years people training for regionals at our box. All of that's gone.
And I, being someone who went to the last several regionals to cheer someone on, somebody there, may not be from your gym, but it's someone local. And then to not have that to go to, it saved me some money, but it was something that I look forward to.
So, along those lines, me and Melissa have talked many times about making a family vacation to a regionals event because we could.
It's close enough.
Either South Central or Southeast. We could go. The hotel rooms aren't that outrageous. The tickets to the event's not that outrageous. And we get the games experience to an extent.
Yeah.
I can't go to Madison. There's nothing I want to see in Madison other than the games.
No, the cost to go as a spectator doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Unless you know someone personally.
Yeah.
It just does not make sense.
Now the defense to that is, Wodapalooza is going to be a lot bigger this year. Look forward to that. Make sure
I would like to go
there.
to the beach, sure. I don't fare too well in the sun, but
so it's still being interesting to see how the sanctionals play out.
Yeah. But in the regionals, just to go back to another point, they lost money on regionals. They probably lose money on the games.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's the marketing that's the money you spent to get new interest, to bring people in the doors and to fuel your affiliates, and that's what keeps CrossFit afloat.
So CrossFit makes money off of the affiliates and off of open participation.
Right. When you have 200,000 people
at $20 a head,
it's a lot of money. That's the, if anything, that's the money that you just push it straight over to pay for the games. That's how you get your logistics done, and
I could understand cutting back on the media for the open. There's no reason.
They'd grown. Their media department had grown to a massive amount. They had a lot of people on staff, and it would have been interesting to see if they could have kept that up. I feel like they were probably spending a good bit on the media.
Yeah.
But if you're making money from YouTube, and hits like that,
and Morning Chalk Up, Box Life, and Rogue are all doing a great job of filling that void.
Yeah.
But I think CrossFit could do a better job of opening the doors and letting them come in and fill that void.
Yes.
But the money thing is if hurting the games hurts your affiliates, and I truly believe it does.
Yes.
You're not helping yourself.
This year, I think it'll hurt more than years going forward if it stays the way it is. It's just that initial shock.
Yeah.
I think definitely affected current clients.
Yeah.
Like you saw it in the Open, the lack of participation in the Open this year, the numbers were down. The feeling in the box it just wasn't there. There was no emotion, and that's from several boxes I've talked to. It was way down years past. Yeah.
So one thing I do like about some of the changes, there's a whole, I've seen a whole lot of Nike lifters and a whole lot of No Bull lifters and a whole lot of Innovates on the floor this year and some different clothing options. So I'm glad that they've
opened it up.
Yeah.
Yep. I think No Bull gave out 180 pairs of shoes
just to get them
for opening day. When you're talking there, between teams and individual athletes, you're talking 200-300 athletes. That's smart. That's just marketing.
It's great.
It allows people who maybe don't have access to your product normally.
Well, and No Bull is one of those. No Bull, if you don't know, No Bull is a company that started making just decent training shoes at what I would call a little expensive price.
Yeah, they're definitely upper end on the price.
They're out of my
scale.
range.
Yeah,
but they're out of my range in South Louisiana, where they're stationed out of.
Yeah,
the cost of living is a little bit higher, so it might be fine. But one of the hurdles they've had to overcome is they almost had an underground startup in the CrossFit community because Reebok had such a hold on the games. If you're at the games, you're wearing Reebok.
You don't have a choice, regardless of your sponsors.
Right.
Yeah.
So I really like that we're seeing, maybe some of the startup companies can come in and have a little bit of luck.
They were wearing Noble lifters on the platform for the clean.
Yeah.
Those black and leather.
Oh, those are so nice.
They were so
the
good
black
looking.
with the tan heel.
Yeah,
Ooh.
they were good looking. I noticed. I pointed out a couple of those. They were good looking.
Oh,
yeah.
I love them. But
still can't afford them.
No, I don't own a pair.
Maybe if you tag Noble, they'll send us.
Yeah, Noble, if you're listening.
Yeah.
But I don't know. All in all, I've enjoyed the games. I like this games. I don't know where we're headed. I don't know where CrossFit as a sport is headed. It seems to be picking up a little speed right now with this, and that's good. We'll have to see if Glassman comes out in the next couple of days and says, well, screw you.
The success of this games is going to drastically improve how we go forward because it didn't fall on its face.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that Glassman looks at how this is still successful and still enjoyable and sees, okay, maybe I was wrong and take us a step back versus seeing, okay, it's still successful. I need to demolish it a little further.
Yeah. And in a situation where I feel like Glassman has pulled the trigger on a lot of decisions, this is where the after action report needs to allow Glassman to listen to outside advice.
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of decisions were made with him just
flying
quick
seat of the pants.
Yeah, and maybe allowing your Dave Castro and I don't know whoever else he has with on his board or whatever, just allowing them to talk him off the edge a little bit.
Right.
Hebner made up some good time on that
Yeah,
workout. He was behind the whole workout
4:27.
because McLeod was off the bike first. So I call it a 4:30 workout.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, just gonna say. I'm a Hebner fan.
Yeah. As well. I like his build.
I like his build. I like his motor, and his strengths has been his downfall, and he's gotten stronger the last couple of years. And Morad here, with his pulled hamstring, did not attempt a clean last night.
Yeah.
I almost wish they would have allowed him to bow out, award him 10th place finish, but then allowed Cole Sager, who's in 11th place, to come in because
it had made it more eventful.
He didn't attempt the minimum lift,
mm-hmm.
thus the minimum, what should have been the minimum required.
Well, you're right. I remember at least 2 times in past games. One with Team NorCal when Miranda pulled a hamstring and couldn't finish a workout. That they were disqualified.
They could continue to work out until that athlete had to perform a rep, and then she couldn't, and then their score was stuck at that, or they were disqualified. Yeah.
And then there was another one where it was a heavy lift, and if you couldn't get the first one, you were just disqualified.
Yeah.
That was your games were over.
And that's an issue with the cut. He was the 10th place athlete, and there was no one else to take his spot because they had already been eliminated the night prior after Mary. So Cole Sager, 11th place after Mary, was gone. And you're basically working out with 9 athletes now.
Yeah. At that point, I almost put it on him as he should have had, and he may have. He may have done this, but he should have gone to. Is Boz the head judge still?
I believe Boz is working the event, so I would assume he's head. Yeah.
Go to him and say, "Look, I'm injured.
Yeah.
I don't need to continue. Why don't you let?" Instead of letting me start out, why don't you bring somebody else?
It's not that he's not, like I said, award him the 10th place finish.
Yeah.
You are the 10th place person. Cole Sager, worst case, you tie for 10th.
Anyway, so we're going to get into this. We're going to let y'all go so that we can watch this last event. I'm going Noah Olson all the way. I'd like to see him take it. I'd like to see him beat Frazier. I've been a Noah fan for a long time. This year, it looks like he's filled up any gaps that he needed to. On the women's side, I would have liked to have seen Carrie Pierce do better, but it looks like Tia's all the way, and I can't say anything bad about her. Like, she's not had a bad finish. By average, I think she's who should win.
David's daughters moved into the podium after their Ringer 1 and 2. That was big for her, 2 first place finishes. Obviously, I'll agree. I'm not going to make any major statements here. Tia Claire Toomey is going to take the top of the podium for the women. There's just no way, if she's healthy through the remaining of the day, there's no way she does not finish. You're going with Olsen. I think it's a good choice. I want to go with Olsen. My head says go. My heart says go with Olsen. My head says Fraser's gonna put the pedal to the metal and put Olsen in a position to push harder than he should. Which he's shown yesterday that he was able to back off and hold his pace and be happy with the second, third place finish because that's all he needs.
Yeah.
I think Fraser's going to try to get in his head. We don't know what's going on in the tent.
It's gonna be crazy.
I'm sure Fraser's not being an upstanding citizen in the tent.
No. No.
But I think Fraser probably finds a way to do it. My head says Fraser and my heart says Olsen. I'd like to see Olsen win here. I always thought he was kind of a dark horse. He just always had a weakness somewhere.
I never had him on the podium this whole season.
This year, definitely not. No, in my initial predictions list, I didn't have Olsen in my top 5, and I don't think I had him in my top 10, to be honest. I thought he would have been cut.
I had Vellner and Panchik as my 2 that I wanted to see do well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, Vellner's cut. So.
Vellner he got taken out. Olsen this year physically is a different specimen. You can look at him.
He's put on weight. He's moving well.
He was always a lightweight body weight guy. Not lightweight. He's a body weight mover. And he still is. He showed that on holding his own on sprints. The bar muscle up. He still went up. He was able to. I think he took. Might take first on that one, or he took his heat win on that, but not first overall. He's improved physically. He's put on some muscle, and it was fourth year at the games, third or fourth year at the games. So I think he's starting to get that veteran aspect where he can realize he doesn't have to send every workout.
Right. It's hitting that maturity.
Yeah. So I think it can hold out, and he'll hold first. But Fraser's got his mindset, and we haven't seen Fraser like this before. So he'll either burn up on the bike in this event, or he'll be able to push it and it won't affect him at all because he's a different animal.
Yeah. So that's where I think the exact opposite. I think that's what's going to get him. I think he's let turn it on, watch the live streams, try to get into it. If you've never heard of the games, this is a great one to sit down and go back through. Roguefitness.com, Morning Chalk Up, YouTube, they're all on there. And get out, support your local affiliates, go knock on the door, say, hey, I'm interested in this, and hell, get after it. Hit it like you live.